my name is Brandon, and welcome back to Audio Addiction, where you can find the latest album reviews, you can find our band interviews, and you can find live video of the concerts that we get. I've unfortunately been sick for the past couple days. That's only why I've been posting a lot of just, band interviews. I've been trying to get some rest, some good sleep, you know what I'm saying? But I have 3 album reviews that are coming out tonight. Hopefully, all of them you'll be able to check out. But definitely stoked on that. Also going to 3 shows this weekend. After the Burial, I believe Memphis Mayfire, and then the last one is if you've been following the channel for a while, Andres is coming through to New Jersey, so I had to, of course, catch their set. I'm really stoked on that, and I think they're playing with Dwellings, which is also another awesome band. So if you hear me cough throughout the interview or album review, it's because I'm still kind of getting over it, but I'm definitely doing better taking medication, so thank you for that. But without further ado, if you enjoy what we do, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also make sure to hit that like button. It really does mean a lot, and thank you guys for getting us to 300 plus subscribers. That's really awesome, and thank you for all your support. It means a lot to me. So without further ado, tonight we're going to be talking about Ashland's new record, Wildfire.
To see you, like the sun shining down on my shadow.
So, I hadn't heard about this band ever. I was actually approached by my friend Michelle. Shout outs to you. She's the one who passed me this band along, and I purposefully didn't listen to any of the singles, anything. I wanted to have a fresh mind, an open mind to what this band does, and I can definitely say without a doubt, I feel like most listeners of this band will enjoy Paris, Paramore, a lot of this sort of female-fronted musical acts. I definitely feel like that's kind of right up their alley, but I definitely feel like they've made their name for themselves in terms of sonically and stuff like that. This is a very diverse album, and I'm going to get into all the tracks and let you know what I think about them. So the first one is Lights Out. This one is definitely one of my favorite tracks. It feels very Paris-esque, like I said, which isn't a bad thing. I really dig their style, musical style, so it definitely feels very much along the lines of that. Also really digging the female vocals and the harmonies. I feel like there aren't too many female bands that, are around. But I can definitely add this band to my list of female bands to check out and to, get a listen to. I think that this band definitely deserves it. Instrumentally, I think it's really solid. Again, it reminds me a lot of Paris's sound, or what they're known for now. But I really enjoy that. I also enjoy the additional sort of production and the layering throughout this track. I think it's really solid, and I'm liking all the different layers of synth, and how they pair well with the guitars, the drums, the bass, all that sort of thing. I like this sort of cool. I would consider it almost like a breakdown or like a bridge kind of a thing. I think that's a really cool touch, and I think it adds a bit of diversity to this track, and also kind of livens it up, I'd say, without a doubt. So we'll move on to track number 2, which is For You. I can definitely see this track being played on the radio. It definitely has those sort of radio vibes. I would say it kind of pulls influence from top 40s pop music, without a doubt. Especially top 40s radio pop rock. I feel like they definitely have that sort of aesthetic to them. Vocally, I'm loving the melodies, the lines. I think their vocalist definitely has a great range, and definitely has a different variety to how she does her voice, and I think how she uses her voice throughout a lot of the tracks off this record. I think she's very diverse, very just different in that regard, so I really enjoyed that. I would definitely say this is a change of pace from the first track. If you only listened to Lights Out and then you went on to For You, I think there's definitely a different mix in that regard, without a doubt. And I'm liking the sort of softer vocals. I feel like it kind of accents the whole song sonically. I think they definitely did a really good job of kind of mixing those two different, I guess, different opposing things into one thing. I think they really did an awesome job of that. without a doubt. So we'll move it on to track number 3, which is Something Is Broken. Another one of my favorite tracks. I'm liking sort of the darker undertones of this track. I think so far this album has been really diverse. If you just take a look at the first 3 tracks that I just told you about, it's very diverse, and I really enjoy it. I think it keeps definitely myself being a listener engaged in what the band does, how they sound, how they can do different things. I really enjoy that. I also like the vocal ad libs, the rums. I think they're very tasteful. I think they add another layer to what's already good female vocals. I think it's tasteful in that regard that it's not overdone. Like there's a lot of female vocalists that I think that are good, but they might go a little bit too far. I think it goes just enough so it's like, ah, that's really good. She's got chops without a doubt. But not too far as in like, wow, you're really kind of like showing off and stuff. So really enjoy that. I like that it's kept confined, but at the same time, it's very tasteful. It's very good. Um, I like this sort of rockier vibes. I think that's what I lean more towards with this band. I like the rock direction that they're going in. However, there are some curveball-y sort of tracks throughout this record that I really like that I didn't think I was gonna like. For example, the next track for Got Love. Um, this has definitely become one of my favorite tracks. After just a couple listens, I would definitely say this is in the top tier for one of my favorites. While it being very basic, at the same time, I think it's very solid, and that's why I have to say it's one of my favorites, just because it is a change of pace from the first 3 tracks. They're more like pop rock, or rock, or something along those lines. But this one definitely has a nice flavor, a nice just difference to it that I really enjoy. I think that this track definitely shows off their vocalist to its her fullest potential. It has some nice range, some nice falsetto. I think it really plays in very well with that. I definitely would say that this track is most without a doubt the black sheep of the record. I always love when I try to find that black sheep sort of song off the record, and this one without a doubt is. It's a little bit slower, it's a little bit mushy gushy, but I really enjoyed that. Again, while it being very basic, I think it's done super solidly. I think you can definitely pick out just the sort of subtleties of her voices, the nice harmonies that they add to it. I just think it's very good, and I also feel like this album will cater to a lot of people that either like rock or like pop or like pop rock or like other sorts of genres. I definitely feel like this is kind of the amalgamation of that. So we'll move into track number 5, which is No Trouble. I'm liking this sort of ambient guitar and vocal intro. I think that is always a tried and true classic sort of combo to me. I'm also liking the addition of piano. I think that adds, again, a nice flavor, a nice touch to what is already a really solid track. This is another track that I could definitely see being on the radio and being played on the radio. It definitely has some hints of top 40s music, but definitely has that refreshing sound that I like. I'm not particularly a big fan of radio, like pop rock or pop or whatever, but I can definitely tell that sort of influence that they have on them, that they like that sort of music. So it definitely plays into their sound and their overall thing. So I definitely really enjoy that. And also I like that they're keeping it diverse. Each track that I've mentioned previously, I feel like they haven't kept to the same sound. They've definitely tried to switch it up, keep it fresh, keep it refreshing without a doubt. So we'll move on to track number 6, which is Turn It Up. I definitely would say this is more traditional sort of pop rock sounding tracks, especially this one. While to me it feels very generic, I feel like it's executed very well. And I think it also, again, I think it kind of adds pacing to the whole record. Again, and also with diversity and just variety, I think that this is a nice track. However, I don't like it too much. I wouldn't consider it one of my favorites, but I think it adds a nice diversity to an already really good arsenal that they have already. And I really dug the bridge in this track in particular. So we'll move on to track number 7, which is Keep Moving. This one is another one of my favorite tracks. I'm liking the the vocals and the synth intro. I think that's really awesome. I didn't think that that this track will go in more of a rock based direction, but I think it's really solid. The chords sounds huge, which is awesome. I definitely think they have flavors of like Versa Emerge, um, in that regard, especially in this track. And I'm also loving the vocal layering in the chorus. I think that's really awesome. I would definitely say this one is one of the more catchier tracks off the record. And I think this track just definitely has some great flow and structure to it. That's why I think it's definitely one of my favorites, just because it has this sort of solidness to it that I enjoy. So we'll move it on to track number 8, which is Closer, another one of my favorite tracks. I'm liking this sort of ambient guitar intro. I think it's really solid. I also enjoy, also digging the eerie sort of vibes of this track. Um, Almost, I don't know, very, again, very much akin to Paris, without trying to label them too much. But it definitely has those sorts of vibes to them. Also liking the bass, taking the lead on this track. I don't think bass typically is at the forefront of any sort of track too much. Sorry, bass players, but definitely really enjoyed that. I think it's definitely a nice change of pace. I think this track is vocally impressive as well as diverse too. Again, I think she's probably one of the most solid, sort of underrated vocalists I've heard in a really long time that I enjoyed that I had no idea about. So definitely great with that. I think great pace, great structure on this track as well. I think they really did a solid job, and the production and layering is really awesome. I think it definitely adds a lot of depth to the whole, not just this song, but the whole album in general. I think it adds this sort of depth that would have been lacking if it didn't have those sorts of pieces. And I like this one has some grit to it almost. It reminds me a lot of almost like Set It Off's record cinematics. They use a lot of like theatrics and sort of that sort of stuff. So really enjoyed that, and I think this one is another solid track. So we'll move it into track number 9, which is No Good. Another one of my favorite tracks. I think this was a single that they released as well. I'm really liking this sort of organ vocal intro combo. I think it's really awesome. I think that this track is another catchy as hell track. Really stoked, digging this one a lot. I think I liked how the vocals are constructed and how they fit into the overall track. I think it was constructed very well. I think it's really awesome that it's literally only the two of them that made this album. I think it's ridiculous how much talent it takes. Um, Really loving the guitar riffs in this track in particular. I just think it's solid to me. I'm a big guitar player myself, so that's something that I gravitate towards. But in this particular track, I had to kind of give it a shout out because I really enjoyed this one, and I can definitely see this track being on the radio as well. I think this album has this radio friendliness that a lot of bands just don't have, and I would definitely say that this one I could definitely hear on the radio. So we'll move into the last track, which is Why. I'm liking this sort of soft piano intro. I think the vocals are very solid on this track. However, I think they should have ended it on No Good. I think they should have ended it on sort of a high note. I know they wanted to kind of take it back and do a slow track, which is good and all. But to me, I felt like while we were on such a high with No Good, I felt like it kind of dropped off with Why. I think it's a, I think overall, I think it's a really solid track. However, I feel like No Good would have been a better way to end this record. But with all that being said, I would definitely say that this album was a big surprise to me, and it felt very diverse and unexpected in the best way possible. I don't think one track sounds similar to the other. I think they really kept it diverse. They really thought it out, and I think the structure, song structure and like how they arranged it, I think it was very smart. So when we go into the pros and cons, like I mentioned, I think it's very diverse. I think it's very thought out. I also feel like that this album caters to a lot of different people who kind of fall into that pop mentality or top 40s or rock or pop rock. I think there's something to be liked by everyone in this album. I think it has this sort of radio top 40s, either like pop rock sort of flavor to it, and I think it definitely deserves to have at least maybe a song or two on the radio, like the songs that I mentioned that I felt like had this sort of radio feel to it. I think they should definitely be on some sort of radio station because it sounds awesome. So definitely stoked on that. Any cons? I really don't have too many. I think it was really solid for not knowing anything about this band. I think this was just a solid outing from them, without a doubt. So thank you again to Michelle. You are the best. So I'll give my overall rating for Ashland's Wildfire record. I'm going to give it a 9.3 out of 10. I think it's definitely one you should go pre-order, go pick up. Definitely go help these guys out. First week sales means a lot. I'm definitely go pick it up tomorrow when it comes out. I'm super stoked to get it in the mail. Really excited for these guys. I would hope that they would tour the East Coast. That'd be ridiculous. I'd like to see how their album kind of transpires to live setting and how well they do it. So I'm really stoked for that. Go check out Ashland's Wildfire. I was gonna say Whitefire for some reason, but I'm an idiot. But definitely let me know in the comments section below if you've heard of this band before. Let me know what your favorite tracks are, what your thoughts on the new record is. And again, thank you to Michelle. You are the best. More to come from her in the foreseeable future. So if you enjoy what we do, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, make sure to hit that like button as well. And if you enjoy us a lot, we have a merch store. If you'd like to pick up some merch, that'd be really rad of you. Like I mentioned, there's going to be a few more album reviews to come up, so be on the lookout for that. I'm really stoked. It's very diverse, which I enjoy as well too, so definitely be on the lookout for that. And with that being said, my name is Brandon, and we hope you got your fix, and we'll be talking with you soon. Deuces. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Of course, if you enjoy what we do, make sure to go check out the other series we do. We do album reviews, we do band interviews, and we do live videos, so definitely go check that out. Hit that subscribe button. It really helps out our channel, helps us grow. Make sure to hit that like button as well. Go follow us on social media. That's all down below. We try to keep that as updated as possible. We also made a new website where we'll be posting photos of upcoming concerts and stuff like that, which you can go check out at audioaddictionmedia.com and come get your fix with us, guys. Talk to you later. Deuces.